Alright, so this video is going to be a little bit shorter. I wanted to do a 1 month later on the LG 32GS95UE, which is this super badass, amazing top of the line monitor. But I just brought home a new baby about 2 weeks ago. I'm sleep deprived as hell, but I still wanted to get a video out. This one might be a little bit different, so bear with me. But in all honesty, having wanted to do a 1 month later review, I haven't really been using this monitor as much as I wanted to over the last month and all, but I still wanted to give my opinion 1 month later, since really, in all the chaos of my house right now, what still keeps me sane, which might be the same for you, is gaming. The problem is, while this setup is super badass with this monitor and all, my basement isn't really the place for watching a newborn baby, so I've got to find a new place to really test out this monitor. So whether you've had a shitty day or you're having a hard time finding time for yourself, whatever that might be, my thing has always been gaming. That said, as a creator, I find myself talking more about gaming than actually gaming. With that though, this monitor has been my saving grace when it comes to gaming, since it's pretty much one of the top of the line ones available right now. Now this video won't have charts and specs and comparisons or any of that stuff, so this is just a 1 month later opinion piece from myself personally. In short, what I really need is a no bullshit display that covers me for productivity, gaming, and of course content consumption. Now, since the basement wasn't particularly baby friendly, I decided to move everything up here to my bedroom, where I'll probably have the slightest chance to game a little bit more, so it's definitely the way to go. In this case, this setup does allow me to get some gaming in while he's vibing in his bassinet, or if I'm in the dad chair. I was testing Gigabyte's 360Hz OLED the other week, and this setup was great for that specifically, so naturally the LG would be the same, if not better. That, and I'll finally get some more time with it. Now, since this has some of the best built-in speakers I've ever used on a monitor, it's great for this tiny setup and pretty much gives me an all-in-one solution. The thing is, while it's not quite perfect, it's still a step beyond incredible. In my case, the HDMI 2.1 ports pairs well with my PlayStation 5, and of course that DisplayPort 1.4 goes perfect with my gaming PC. From a build standpoint too, this is as premium as it gets when it comes to monitors, and the stand is near perfect. It does give me full range of motion from height, 90-degree rotation, tilt, and pivot. And what is absolutely 10 out of 10 is being able to swivel this towards the dad chair whenever I'm tied up. In all its glory though, the 4K resolution and the 240Hz refresh rate is everything I've personally been waiting for when it comes down to a monitor, especially an OLED panel. And while more recently I've had to swap my mouse and keyboard for a controller, in the off chance I'm able to throw down some FPS games, dropping bodies in Overwatch has still been a good time, albeit a little less tryhard. What really does it for me though is that 480Hz dual mode, which is tied with the built-in speakers as my #1 feature on this display. Being able to swap the 4K 240Hz to 1080p at 480Hz is simply one of those features I place a disproportionate amount of value in. Honestly, it's just a nice feature to have whenever I do want to push rank in competitive games without having to sub out my monitor like I have in the past. It's been beyond incredible for those FPS games, although I've had to jump into more quick play than competitive as of late. Oh my god. With that, in an attempt to get some more gaming in, I've been spending more time on my PlayStation 5. It's just easier using a controller than my mouse and keyboard, and honestly, I can't complain. Of course, I'm not going to be getting that full 240Hz or 480, but the upscaled 4K images on the PlayStation 5 at 120Hz is still beyond awesome. Whenever I'm sitting further away too, it's not like I can pixel peep anyways. Plus, the matte finish does do a great job whenever my monitor is angled towards the dad chair whenever I am trapped. Light simply blasts in through the windows in my bedroom, and this monitor holds up incredibly well, diffusing all of that light, all while still looking pretty badass. I will say though, a month after using this monitor, my main gripe still is the fact that there's no Type-C or KVM switch on here. All of my peripherals are still wireless, so it's not really the biggest deal ever, but not having that one cable Type-C connection kinda sucks. Still, I did opt to just use this tiny single source dock, which gives me one USB-A port and that one cable 4K connection. It's nothing spectacular, but it's affordable and it gets the job done. And well, since I seem to talk more about gaming than actually gaming nowadays, this display has still been great for everything else outside of gaming. Whatever the case is, whether it's editing, doing work, or watching content, everything looks awesome. It's simply hard to beat the image coming out of an OLED display, especially with the perfect blacks and the saturated colors. And one thing I can add to this is that there's been zero issue when it comes down to text, like at all. Honestly, it could be because I'm a normie or I'm not very picky, but I see a lot of back and forth online about text on OLED panels, and honestly, it's fine. Okay, now, Is this the only monitor that can do everything that I've spoken about? No, obviously not, but I can still see why it's either back-ordered or sold out everywhere. Still, if I didn't have this one specifically, my next best bet would probably be the one from Gigabyte, which does have that Type-C port, albeit worse speakers. The beauty is most of the stores that will probably be selling this monitor anyways have dope-ass return policies, so if you don't like this monitor by any means, whether that's the text, the HDR, the brightness, whatever the hell it is, it's a WOLED panel, just return it, okay? If it's not working for you, just get something else. For me though, it just simply ticks all the boxes. Gaming, productivity, and of course that content consumption. Everything I've thrown at this thing looks great, from HDR games to rewatching all 9 seasons of Dexter's again, as well as editing all of my videos. Yeah, it could definitely have that KVM I mentioned, and sure, it's expensive as hell, so it kinda sucks to buy something separate. And honestly, after spending a crap ton of time on Reddit trying to find all those minute questions I wanted to answer in this specific video, I kind of realized it doesn't really matter, because what really matters to me when it comes down to a gaming monitor or productivity monitor, whatever monitor, might not be the same for me as it is for you. Again, I place a disproportionate amount of value in the dual mode as well as the built-in speakers, and those two features might be specifically absolutely useless for you. Either way, if you're like me and you need games to decompress, find a way to do it, because you don't really need a dope-ass display like this to get that done. For me, that comes down to other things like my PlayStation Portal, my handheld emulator, and even the phone in my pocket. Still, whenever I do need to get some gaming in, I know I could always go to my living room TV, but that's chaos at the best of times. So whenever I do want to escape and get some real good gaming in, at least I know that this monitor is waiting for me whenever I need it. So yeah, that's my 1 month later review. It's a little bit different, but this is all I got for now. I'll probably have a video 6 months down the road, but I appreciate you watching till the end. Till next time. I can't really cover the lens because this is a mirror. I'll just do this.